Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Let me remove my banners and things out of the way here. That's the wrong one. There they are. There we are. Where did it go? Oh, this thing is acting weird today already. Already slow and not doing what it's supposed. I'm hitting buttons and it's not responding. Anyway, I'm glad you're here with us today. I'm going to check to see who's here. Let's see who's here. My sissy and brother-in-law, first one's here. Put on my glasses so I can see. And then here comes Leslie. Hey, Leslie. Glad you're here.
All right, Miss Leslie and family.
What's she saying? Dad George is there with them and her sister Julie. Okay, cool.
Oh,
cool.
Look at there.
Yeah. There's Sandra. Hey, Sandra. And there's Deb. Hello, Deb. Brother Blue and the family. There's Edith. Hey, Edith. I'm glad you're here this morning. Brother James and Kelly. You guys keep praying for them. He's going through his health challenge, and you guys remember to be in prayer with the two of them, he and Kelly. And then there's Kathy. Hey, Kathy. Good morning to you guys. Good morning. It is a beautiful, rainy Sunday morning, and I know you're glad you didn't have to get out and get in it. So we're glad to be here with you.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing?
Looking
out the window.
Mm-hmm.
Are you okay this morning?
Mm-hmm.
A little bit. Did you sleep much?
Mm-hmm.
No.
I was up by 8:30. I
went to bed early because I was just really. Good morning, Sue. I've been thinking about you, Sue.
Yeah. Good
I'm glad you're here, honey bun. Glad you are here. Let's see. What do we want to do today?
When I see your name, I see you.
Of course.
I see a you that took on a name.
Yeah.
But I see you.
Yeah. Sue's been doing if I remember correctly, hospice training, and been working with that, and that sounds very, very interesting. I'd like to talk to her about some of that stuff. Yeah. She said she missed us too. Yeah, we miss you, girlie. We miss you too.
You haven't seen Keely?
No.
Well, I just thought about it when
you thought about Keely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You have to call her and see how she's doing. Anyway, I'm so glad you guys are with us, and we're going to go ahead and I'm going to do what I did last Sunday, if you don't mind. Ask some of those questions, unless you're in a hurry. That's okay with you? And let us know.
Started off with one. One of them is you are not the one that is unhappy.
Oh, that's good. Now, hold on to that. And Sue says she is doing her hospice training and volunteering. I'd be interested to know what she's experienced doing that. That's good. I listened to a lady who had been a nurse in hospice for years, and she does videos, short videos of what they experience when they're at the end of life, and it's very, very interesting. Good morning, Jonathan.
Jonathan
Good
J.
morning to you.
Hickbar.
Good morning to you. Anyway, if you guys have not ever been here before, this is Cornerstone Life Center, and we are the pastors. I'm Tony, and this is Clifton.
Clifton and Antoinette Hickbar.
And Pearl just came in, and John Greason just came in the house.
Greason Hickbar.
And before we went live, I was listening to a CD of us way back in 1994. Mm-hmm. We were still talking. We were already talking about what we're talking about now in 1994. 94. So evidently we started way before then. So we did. We've been on this road for a while.
A long time, brick and mortar, but then in that brick and mortar experience, we were going in and out of the teaching about what we're doing now.
That's right. That's right.
There's somebody I see, just flash. I see you standing at a new stove in your house, and you also are standing in a place where a floor is being repaired, like carpet or something in structure. I just sensed that intuition to mention that to some of you. And I'm beginning to feel this presence of something of a supply coming to you, something you've been waiting for a long time, good. It's getting ready to open its hand into you. I can say that generally about everybody, but
it's a particular person.
No,
a specific person.
I see a lot of you. Just being here this morning is beginning to have a fragrance, a smell of grace and joy around you that is unspeakable, and you're beginning to experience that. I just went into that right then, just clicked inside.
Some of us have been given the gift of experiencing the presence of God,
and it's called a conscious. It's called God revealing on a conscious level,
which goes back to what you said, what we saw, we heard earlier when you said God didn't come.
Yeah, I wrote that
God
down.
didn't come into you. God revealed himself.
Yeah, I wrote that down.
Already there.
God didn't come in.
Yes.
He just revealed himself.
Just revealed, yes.
Now that is a big one.
That is a huge one.
A huge one. I need to write that again. Can I borrow your
yeah. Of course. And I want to say this too before we even get started. We would not be classified, the two of us would not be classified as non-dual teachers, even though we sometimes talk that language. We would not be really thought of as new thought teachers or new age teachers, even though we touch those areas. But we are simply Christian mystics, and our allegiance will always be to Christ. However, you can keep it if you need it. However, we understand that the reason we have been talking this way for so long is because of the mysticism, the hidden mysteries that have been revealed to us.
All right, I got one for you for that. That's a good one.
Okay.
Blessed art thou, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood have not revealed it unto thee or to you, but the Father which is in heaven inside of us.
The heaven and Father was inside.
This whole time,
There's no way he could have even heard
just
that.
he just used my mama, your daddy, mama, everybody's mama, use a physical body like it did with Mary, Jesus' mama, to reveal and form the finite self inside of a finite body.
Wow. So
Ooh,
this is
God,
we're
that's
already
that's so
into it.
juicy.
We're already into it.
Oh.
But I want to can I still ask these
Yeah.
questions? Or you
Wow.
you chomping at the bit now.
I believe I just popped.
Okay. Now last week we did this and I want to do it again. Just because it really for me it was very effective for myself. And what did Kathy say? She says, been waiting for a long time for that to happen. Thank you, Pastor. Funds are coming my way. In 15 days, it's been a long way. Oh, so she was the one you saw.
Yes, I saw it. I saw it coming.
Mm-hmm.
I'll
Very
see it
good.
coming in my
Good.
mailbox too. I ain't gonna stop seeing because somebody else seeing. Hey,
Now we're
what you
praying
see?
for you to be blessed.
Yeah.
You guys to be blessed so you can bless us.
Well, either way, I'll take it
Yeah,
either way.
I heard a minister say this. He said that we have to have favor with God and man, and there's a scripture for that. There's favor. We have favor with God and man, and that's because God uses man to give.
Faith is the memory of what tea, coffee, and juice taste like. Fact is, you have tasted it, and faith is no longer needed. You are now moving in reality. You don't have to taste the wine or the beer anymore because reality, fact, has already manifested and canceled out faith.
All right, put the brakes on for a
Do,
minute.
do, do, do,
Oh,
do.
there you go. There we go. All right, we did this last week. I want to do it, and we got to hurry up because he's chomping right now.
Yeah.
Popping, chomping, whatever you call it.
Mhm.
But we said this last time. These questions are going to be thrown at you or presented to you, and I want you to answer them as though you are outside of a body
That's right.
and never had any memory of being human. All right, keep that in mind. You're outside of a body and never had any memory of being human. There's no remembrance of that whatsoever. So when we ask these questions, you cannot answer from what you feel as a human being.
This is also the beginning of finding out that you are no longer separated from each other. You are now getting ready to experience with what she's going to say or present to you who you really are.
Yes, and in order to do this, you cannot give a quick answer. You must truly see the answer in yourself as a knower, not so much thinking about it. But if you are not human, if you have no body and you have never had a human life, these questions will be answered a certain way. And I don't have to tell you how to answer them, but it will come from that you are, which is authentic, which is non-physical, which is multidimensional. It will come from that you are, that has always been here. So anyway, let's go into the questions. You ready? I hope you have no distractions around you. I hope you put everything aside for a moment.
Can I say this? James Dixon has been with us before we got started into the church business. I knew him as a little boy before we got into it, and then lost track of him and saw him again. I just want to pay honor to this. In my heart. So listen to what she's going to read.
Yes, and you'll have to slow yourself down in order to respond to these questions. So please do that if you can. Leave all your concerns aside. Leave all of your wishes and desires aside for a moment. Leave everything aside, okay? All right, the first question is this. And you can type in your responses. In fact, that helps me to see if you're actually getting it. The first question is, are you male or female? Are you black, white, Asian, Hispanic, or any nationality? How much do you weigh? Has anybody ever taken your picture? Have you ever been lost? Have you ever been a sinner? How long have you been here? Do you have a birthday? Do you have a beginning? Do you have an end? You have no, listen, you are not answering as a body. You have never had a human experience. So are you in fact a male or female, black, white, any nationality? Do you have any age at all? Will you ever die? I like what Kathy says. I want to ask another question. We didn't answer this before. What label can you put on yourself?
Mhm. Do you have a shape? Do you have a size? Do you want anything? Can anyone take advantage of you? Where are you located? Can you be depressed? Where did you come from? Do you have any problems?
Do you have any worries? Are you a limited, defective person? Do you ever change? Are you ever affected by circumstances? Can thoughts of the mind change your nature? Can negative circumstances threaten you? Do you have a past? How far is God from you?
Mhm.
Do you need to be recognized? Do you need to be loved? Okay, I'm going to stop there. I'm not going to call any names, but some of you are answering straight from your minds. Majority of you felt and found yourself apart from your bodies and your minds, but some of you are still locked into your minds. Some of you are still locked into your minds simply because some of you are still closely identified, heavily identified with your bodies and your minds, which is not you. You have a mind and you have a body, but they're not you. But some of us don't know yet how not to speak from that place. But you'll get it as we go. But being human is only a belief. It is the memory of life on earth in a body. Now, Sue said this. Thank you, Sue, because she's admitting, and some of us have the same condition. Okay. I found myself very locked into my body as you ask these questions. Yes. And that's the purpose of asking the questions. The questions are to inquire,
deep enough,
to have you look deep enough to realize how much you are identified with that body.
And in order to do that, metaphorically speaking, before you come in the house, in certain countries, you have to remove your shoes. For now, you're beginning to understand what was told to Moses as he stood in the presence of God and in the burning bush in the book. Take off your shoes, for the place where you are standing
It's holy.
Is holy. I mean that it is what God is.
And I have to say this, Sue, I'm so glad you're here, because in working with people in the end of life, the struggle that they go through is to disidentify with their bodies and minds. That's where the struggle comes in, isn't it? Leslie said the last question, she pondered that thought. I don't even remember what the last question was. What was it? What was that last question? Anyway, tell me what the last question was. Now I can, and it's good you pondered it, because that means you are now putting some distance between what you believe as a mind, what you believe and what you think yourself to be, and you're putting some distance in between that and what you really truly are. And Sue
Okay.
says the struggle is real and oftentimes filled with much fear. Yes, yes. So these sessions are very, very good for you, because what it does is it helps you to get past that struggle. So in the end of your life, you will just, it will be just a transition. It won't be a struggle, because you've already disidentified with all of that. You have a body, you have a mind, but you're not that. But most people believe that their stories continue as a mind and as a body. Even some of you, I realize you said you came from heaven. Heaven is a place in the figment of your imagination, because you've heard of it in the Bible. Now, if you were never human and never heard of that in the Bible, where would you have come from? What would you call heaven? So these are the things that we keep driving home to you, so that you can come into a place of revelation, as you mentioned. God is not coming in.
Revealed relation.
There's no coming in. There's no going out. There's no going up. None of that is actual.
Mm-hmm.
That may be the sensation that we have, but that is not actual. In fact, when you go up, remember the earth is round. Some would dispute that. But if the earth is round and I go up, and you're on the opposite side of the earth, and you go up, which direction are we going? So there's no up, no down. There's no in, no out. These are mystical. This is mystical language, but you must get it, because you must see yourself beyond the body and the mind and know that you are multidimensional. To be so wrapped up in this physical self is where the suffering lies, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't mean you walk around like a zombie and you don't feel things. Nothing affects you in that sense. But you realize that what is being affected is not you. What you want to add to that?
He locked in the body. My investigation into what you said for many years, I went into research about machines, airplanes, trucks, and ships. They have inside of them, and you've heard of it when I mentioned it, and we used to talk about it years ago, a black box.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That in the event something take place where everything is wiped out in that craft or that machine, the actual recording is in a certain, they call it the black box programming. Each one of us, when you say you feel shut and locked in a body, that's the black box talking or releasing that information that you are stuck.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when I found out that the subconscious or the unconscious is the black box in the sense of the data, when it talks about that all things will come to your memory, a past life review, some people go through when they have near-death experiences or in a comatose state. There's a lot of people that you're working with in hospice that black box is open, and it reveals the suffering. Every Christmas, when certain things take place in your Christmas celebration, once in a while, memory comes up about the last Christmas or the best Christmas or who was or what was around you at a certain age, a certain time. That's your black box rehashing or kicking up what is called sludge.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I looked into sludge, the definition through soldering lead to
And when they refine gold.
and refined gold and sludge in steel factories. This sludge must be there. It has to be there because sludge is what your eternal self used as fire to burn off and produce the answer to your deep prayer. Lord, do it for me. That's an old song.
Mm-hmm.
Lord, do it for me. The sludge is when you come to a impasse. Impasse meaning something that is blocking you. It's called impassable. You can't get from point A to point B because there's a sludge out of the black box that keep coming up. So what God does is use the bypass system, bypass the sludge by using it to burn off all the top dirt consciousness and reveal in the sludge the pure gold.
Yes.
As a song said, his love for me is like pure gold. Yes, God is real,
for I can feel.
I would say, yes, God is real, for he is burning up all of the sludge.
Oh my gosh.
Of my soul.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
I'm one of his own.
Oh Lord, there you
I'm
go.
one of his own. I surrender. See, you can't surrender because you are the surrendering.
You are that. That is.
You are the surrendering one that has already said yes. Saving you is not anything but revealing to you what was always there, and it didn't have to come to you.
In Malachi 3:2, I'm going to read I think I'm just read that first part as well. In Malachi, the 3rd chapter, verses 1-3, it says, Behold, I will send in my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me. And the Lord whom you seek shall suddenly come to this temple, even the messenger of the covenant, whom you delight in. Behold, he shall come, saith the Lord of hosts. But who may abide the day of his coming? Okay. And who shall stand when he appears? For he is like a refiner's fire and like fuller's soap. He shall sit as a refiner and purifier of silver. And he shall purify the sons of Levi and purge them as gold and silver, that they may offer unto the Lord an offering in righteousness. So God is a refining fire, which means his coming is the revelation of the things that are not you, which is the sludge, being processed out of you. In the sense of, that's what the questions did. The questions are to remove the sludge. The sludge is how you think of yourself, how you think of life. All of that is the sludge, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the black box.
It's how your mind has been shaped by your life conditions, your life environment, your environment.
The sludge is also a term of PTSD.
Okay.
That's the sludge. I saw a man at Lowe's that said he had a dog with him, what they call it, a service dog. And I said, I said, you take your dog with you everywhere you go. Everywhere you've been, you go. In your black box is all the recordings of everything.
It is. It is.
Okay.
It
He
is.
said, you have to go through 6 months or whatever it is, training with the dog.
Yeah, the dog.
And then you have to be disabled to a degree where it permits you, or say that you have a service dog. He said I had to deal with PTSD, and that qualified me for that. I asked him, I said, "Do you sleep good at night?" He said, "No."
Mm-hmm.
So the sludge, he don't understand, or he may, but he's identified with the sludge more so than he had with the gold.
Yes.
For we have this treasure in earthen vessels, that the excellency of God may be the gold.
Yes.
But the sludge is on top, skim it off. They got sludge containers. They scrape off the top of melted steel when
Because
they
it
make
has
steel.
to be separated
It has to
from
be
that is of
separated.
value.
And it's moved into
Yes.
a machine that picks it up like a carrier in a dumpster. They pick it up and take it to the sludge pile and dump it. But aggregate is when they take the sludge and the
Aggregate.
aggregate, I'm trying to say that word, they use it in cement and material to pave our streets with,
Yeah.
to give it substance. So the sludge
is even used.
Used
Yeah.
as part of the function of the object it is designed for. It is designed, sludge is designed not to be a negative, but it's designed to be an additive, to be used for the benefit of waking up.
So even those, so how I want to say it, even my crazy monkey mind.
Oh, tell me the truth.
Can
Don't tell no lie.
Can have a purpose.
You know that's the truth. You can take that to the bank.
I want to say this, and this is all jokes aside. But look, some of you guys, when these questions are asked, your monkey mind answers the questions.
let me mention this to you. In all this information, I heard people say, "Reverend, I had to tell somebody what you said. I had to tell somebody about what I found out about this new waking up." Let me share something with you now. In the church circle, you're going to get yourself in trouble.
Definitely.
And I want to say this to you sternly, because I had people in our ministry for years who tried to tell them what we're talking about. Well, if it's of God, you can tell anybody. No, it's
this
a lot
is for you.
On the Mount of Transfiguration, when Jesus came down, he said, "Tell no one the vision."
Yep, that's what he said.
"Be not afraid," he said, "but don't tell anybody.
Tell no man the vision."
That's right. Tell the vision to no man.
In other words, tell no man what you see. Don't tell him what you see. If you see it, good. And the only thing you can do is help them to see. You cannot tell them what you see. You can only help them to see.
That's the reason why it's some things that you should not flap your lip and sink your ship.
These sessions are for you, not for anybody else you know. It's for you.
And you have to understand that there is a place where you will come, where you will finally understand what it means to keep your mouth shut about the mystical side of God. It's not that you say, if you, something we used to say in the old church life, hooking up to the plow and turning your back on it. You're not doing what God told you to do. That's false guilt and that false sense of responsibility. God ain't missed nothing and ain't gonna lose anything because you don't say it.
We had to come to a place where we stopped trying to fix everybody.
Thank you.
We stopped trying to make everybody see it the way we see it. We had to come to the place where we no longer had this urge to tell everybody. And a lot of that was our own righteousness or self-righteousness, wasn't it? Because we felt, when we looked at them, we felt like something was wrong with them. They need to have what we have.
Yeah.
And that's judgment.
Yeah.
That's judgment.
Yeah. Leslie got a long statement there.
Yeah, I know, but it's going to take us all the way off of our subjects.
Yeah. But you have to learn to stay in the status quo of identity, and the strength of that is God revealing to you what the sludge sounds like in your voice, what the sludge sounds like in your action, what is the sludge in your walk, because your pure self is the goal that is revealing to you how to discern your conversation and when it is sludge and when it is direct pure.
Can I
Okay.
take the word sludge and make it another word?
Okay.
Because when they do that process of refining gold, silver, whatever, it is to remove impurities or to remove whatever is not that. So if it's gold and it has what you call sludge, it's removing that inside of the gold that is not gold. So the refiner's fire for when in relation to us and God, God is removing everything that is not him inside of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not so much that we so that we can, we always say we're the pure self. Well, if you're the pure self, then you must be able to see that is not pure.
That's right.
That is not what you are. And I don't know if this is making sense, but let me know if it is.
Moo just said this: finding out what you are not reveals what you are. And Leslie, a brief word to you. There are some people in my family that when I go around them, I used to be really outspoken in my home where I was raised, because when I met this understanding of who I am, I tried to tell those that were drinking and moonshiners what I knew, and it would cause one of the biggest.
It didn't do anything but ostracize you. Yeah, that's all it did. Now,
in the case of what you appealing to there, when he said, "Get away," do that. Find a way to stay away. Be a friend, but not a daddy or mama to somebody that's grown. I say it like that. My aunt used to tell my uncle, "You can't raise me." Well, you're not going to raise him from the dead by trying to convince him. Leave it alone.
Sometimes we want to bring what we've seen or heard or know to other people, not so much for them. Sometimes we want to do it because we realize that our seeing and our knowing has brought a distance between us and them, and we don't want to let them go.
The husband or the wife, it says in the book, is won by what?
No conversation.
Thank you.
No conversation.
The husband and wife conversation of no conversation wins them, because presence speaks louder than conversation.
Yes, it does.
Words.
It does. Now, I need to say this. When you answer those questions that and I call them inquiries, when we say, what label would you put on yourself? I ask that question. What label would you put on yourself? How would you label you if you were not in a body and you had never had a human experience? How would you label you? And these are some of the words that we've used as labels. One of them is presence. One of them is awareness. One of them is consciousness. One of them is life, spirit, emptiness, beingness, oneness. All of that is labels that we've given ourselves because we don't know what we are outside of that if we're not a human body.
That's right. That's right. Now we're talking. Now we're talking. Okay. Now that we're catching on, here's another one. We set this up in the non-doing self.
Yeah, we sure did.
Before
we sure did.
Coming into the story. We as an infinite being designed this story to be what it is.
Yeah.
Yes, it is such a thing as blind sight. but
Mhm.
only the blind can see this type of sight. Stevie Wonder can see. Hmm. He's doing pretty
He
good.
can.
He can.
Yeah.
He got a minute. He got a bunch of
Yeah.
babies,
Yeah.
so he can see.
He can see. Oh, Lord.
So,
There you go.
hey, because you're physically handicapped does not mean, you know what? There are a lot of people that I've studied it for 50 years at least that was physically blind, that when they got out of their body, sight was their whole body. I've experienced that many times on the other side where I could see with my feet, knees, nose.
You were
Everything.
a seer.
Yeah, a seer.
Yes, that's what you were, a
Yeah.
seer.
Now, in this dimension, what you use to see with is, they call it in the East the third eye, but we're not going to say it like that. We call it discernment.
Then you say in this
And
dimension.
this, when I say this dimension, in this finite world, intuition is what we see with.
Yes, yes, and intuition is
Yeah,
that third eye.
Is that third eye, and that's that's something of another subject. But I want to just mention that to you because you don't want to, Leslie, you don't want to keep backtracking yourself with being in what is called self-sabotage. When we find these things to be fact and no longer have to be believed upon,
Yeah.
faith is now taking the back seat, and the driver of your automobile has always been your eternal self.
Yeah, and I have to say,
And that's what you've been quoting on the affirmation of whatever you call it.
with the inquiry.
Inquiry, yeah.
And I wrote this down some time ago. Looking through the eyes of perception, or looking through the eyes of your through the senses, God seems to be absent.
Yes, yes.
If you look at the world and your life through your senses, God appears to be absent, seems to be absent. But if you look from inner awareness, God permeates everything as the essence of everything. And then there's no place that God is not. If you look from inner awareness.
All of a sudden, you see somebody that's done something horrible, painful, to you in your pain body. It's called your suffering self. And when you see a picture or something, a reminder, all of a sudden what they did to you pop up.
Yep.
That is the black box.
Somebody opened it up.
The
Pandora's box.
The Pandora's box was open. That is not you doing that. That is the automatic system that comes with the price that was paid to come into this dimension.
Yep.
Everybody has the same box. Everybody is the same response. Yeah, the react. Yes. It's the reaction, the reactive self. Now we're finding out that you can, by the power of knowing inquisitioning, you can look at it and not dive into the black box.
Yes.
I think we said this over and over again to certain ones of you.
And we'll keep saying it.
Don't let the black box make you pull a gun. I remember the black box in school. It made me, in one of our class cutting sessions, pull a gun. It wasn't me, the real me.
Exactly.
And shoot at somebody.
And you know how did that response or reaction come? It came from living in an environment
in the black box
where that was done.
It was done. Actually, that was a recording from the black box.
So
it
was a learned response.
When a submarine sink and all of the occupants are deceased inside of the submarine, there's a recorder box in there called the black box.
It's got all the data
and everything
in detail.
Now you can go,
and it has all the imagery.
Yes.
Yeah.
You must go all the way in deep enough in your Christ identity with your mouth shut
But you know,
and find out who is this that is the observer of the black
you know
box
what you're
information.
saying. You know what you're saying. When a let's say when a plane crashes,
Yeah.
or in any particular crash or
Mhm.
accident, the black box, they find that's what they do first is look for the black box.
Yeah,
They look for the
they
black
look for it.
box.
They look for it.
They look for it.
Who is the lookie?
Well, listen.
Yeah, go ahead. Look.
So when they look for the black box, what they're looking for is what caused the crash.
Thank you.
So your black box is telling you what's causing your crashes in your life.
Yeah.
The black box and the data that's in that black box is telling you why your life has gone the way it's going. It's in detail. So your black box had in it your uncle who was violent, who would pull out a gun and
come in every night and pull the gun out.
So that was in your black, and
that's black box.
Had you pulled that gun and shot somebody,
yes,
that would have been your crash.
Yep.
And the crash happened because of what the detail was in the black box.
When I was in the school, a boy tackled me in the men's restroom because of that incident, and I had a knife. And I pulled a knife out as he was wrestling with me on the floor. I pulled a knife out, and when I pulled it out, I opened it to cut it. That was the black box. Now, me talking about it now.
That was the information that was locked into your black box.
Because I used to see my uncle go in the old country church meeting, and all of a sudden I look around, he got a knife around somebody's neck, and he told him, "I'll cut you."
So
but that's what
a lot of the problems we've had in our lives has been because of our learned responses.
Yes. Yes.
Of what we were exposed to. So what we're attempting to do is to remove you from that stuff that you believe you are. You're not that stuff in your black box.
I remember one of the evangelicals told me, he said, I asked the question, I said, how does the gift, the word of knowledge in 1 Corinthians 12 operate? He said one most important thing to me in order to catch, and one of them was float ups.
Okay.
The float up lizard that you're talking about is the same way the black box works, but the separation of it is being able to tell the difference between the black box is to know more about your divine self, your infinite self, enough to know, like what my wife was giving you affirmation, not affirmation, but inquiries about. Once you understand or see clearly, I can see clearly now the sun is out.
The rain is gone.
The rain is gone.
That means the sun is out.
The sun is shining. Now, this that we're saying is the clue to you getting past generational curses.
Yeah, because they don't exist in that you truly are.
Generational curses does not exist.
Right.
They say, you're not going to tell me that I don't, my mama did this and I've been doing the same thing. That is the black box. I'm sorry if I disappoint you in your party and your pity party that want to go into it and just sit there and depress. That depression is not you. That sadness is not you.
That anger is not you.
It is the sludge that's coming up.
It's not you. The anger is not you.
That's not you. I'm sorry. Constantly 24/7, the mind remembers practically every crisis all your life. Some of you, this life, constant memory of certain events that took place in school, your family, and the way you were brought up. That's the black box.
Someone was in a session with a spiritual teacher that we're familiar with. We've listened to quite a bit. He asked, this young man met him and said, "You've been telling us who we are. Now I want to know, who are you?"
Ooh.
And this is how he responded.
Ooh.
He says, "I don't know if I can tell you who or what I am, but I can tell you what I am not."
God, that's something.
He said, "I am not my thoughts or my feelings or my opinions or judgment. I am not this body. but I'm happy with the body and its aches and pains. I am no particular experience or object that I can see or imagine, for they appear to me. I am the witness of them. I'm not anything that can be a constructive thought or imagination. I cannot point to any particular form and say, this is what I am. I am not my form, although I'm present in the form. I could not perceive God or Christ if I did not exist.
Mhm.
They must also appear to me.
Mhm.
There is no judgment about this, no hierarchy.
Mhm.
The supreme power that has made and given the capacity for introspection and contemplation. He said, I am not the conditioning that
Mhm.
took that I grew up with in this body, and all types of things come into this memory. Some things I would like to forget but cannot, but I've seen them to be insignificant. I am not any object, not any race. This body is some race, but I am no pattern. Now, I thought that was
Mhm.
the best way to answer that
Mhm.
question.
Mhm. Somebody, if I am not the unhappiness, ask the question: what I is this that is always the same I of unhappiness? Who is this? What is this
What is
unhappiness?
this? Yes.
Is if I am not unhappiness, then who is this that keeps saying that it is unhappy
Mm-hmm. Or feeling
or
unhappy.
feeling unhappy?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's the same redundancy over and
The
over
same,
again.
the same,
Who
the
is
same.
this unhappiness? Is this I a collection of thoughts? It is a collection of charges. These are charges, energy charges
Energies, yes.
that charges itself in the black box. The black box was designed
To collect the
to
data.
collect the dark data. It is the conflict of all things that take place in the black box to tell
Mm.
the feelings. It's the feelings, it's the memory, it's the reactions in that black box.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Mm-hmm.
why they go after it first. If they're gonna go get somebody out of an accident that's gone in a submarine, they might send somebody to get the remain, may not, depends on what's left. But the black box is still recording.
They'll
The
definitely
black
go for the
box
black box.
recorded if it was so in the Titanic.
Mhm.
The black box is now us watching the history of the sinking of the Titanic. The black box uses that
Mm.
to intimidate and threaten us with fear of flying, fear of being on a ship, fear of heights,
Mhm.
fear
Mhm.
of guns,
Mhm.
fear of
Mhm.
dogs biting, snakes, all of that is in the black box.
Some of us some of us don't have the courage to open the black box
Listen
and
to
to
this.
look at it
Yeah.
to see what is the cause of all of these failures.
What is so amazing about this is that his metaphor, a snake, a rattlesnake, can bite and kill you with venom
Mm-hmm.
that does not kill him.
Exactly.
That's something, ain't it?
Yeah, it is.
That's
It
really
is.
that's really
It is.
crazy.
Yes.
But
Pearl says learned response. Yes, they are learned responses.
thank you.
Based on the
Thank
data
you, Miss
collected
Pearl.
in the black box.
That's
But the
it.
black box has a twofold purpose.
Yeah.
It's also the collection of all of the data of your life experiences where those learned responses come from, but it is also where you can look into and see why you have repeated crashes, repeated
Yeah.
failures,
Yeah.
and looking. We call it introspection, but I call it inquiry, because you look into what I am not.
Here's a guy I saw on YouTube. He was two ladies were getting in the car. One of them but he was attracted to. But he came out to the car and he was walking toward the car, and he said, "Ma'am, please excuse me." She turned around and looked at him and said, with a
Thinking he was
thinking
coming
he
on
was
to
coming
her.
on to her.
Yeah,
She said,
making a
"What
pass.
do you want? I'm on my way to pick my husband up." He said, "Ma'am, I wanted to tell you that you got a flat tire here."
You know, this happened to me for real.
Yeah,
This,
and the lady and the lady said she went and looked at the front tire and it was flat, and she said, "Oh, can you come and help me?" He said, "No, get your husband to come and do it."
that happened to me for real.
Oh, okay.
I'll never forget that I was, yeah, I will forget. I won't say I'll never forget. But there was a time when I was at the grocery store and I was working, and I had been working all day and it was late. I wanted to get home, and I went to the grocery store, and while I was putting my stuff in the car, I put my purse on top of the car.
I remember that.
And I got in, took off, and there was this guy that was at the intersection. He was waving at me and blowing his horn at me, and my fickle mind thought this man was making a pass at me, and I didn't pay him any attention. Took off, went on down the road, got all the way home. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that.
And the grace of God had somebody to pick that pocketbook up. It might have been that same guy. Pick that pocketbook up and call me and bring my pocket back
and call you and brought it to you. I remember that.
My mind said,
"Isn't that great?
He wants
That's
you."
So wonderful.
It said it wants you. So what lies are being told to you by your mind?
This is really tasty. I mean, this is really a morning. To me, this is the morning breakfast.
It's a breakfast. Yes.
Thank you so much. All of you guys are tuned into it. This is better than church in the brick and mortar. I would love to see you physically. That's okay. But this, what we got on this list of people there, you guys are a member of our eternal fellowship. Glory be to God. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Listen, I need to remind you guys of this. We're going to be having the picnic next this coming Sunday, actually. Let me make sure I move this out of the way so you guys can see. But it's the church picnic. We're going to be doing it on Sunday, and that's the 24th at 1 o'clock. We'll be there at Triad Park. That's right here. It's kind of Colfax. It's between Kernersville and Greensboro. And it'll be shelter for. Bring your own lunches. We're looking forward to seeing you guys, those of you who are local. And I think Leslie's going to be trying to come down she's going to come in to be with us. And so I'm looking forward to seeing you guys. I just want to remind you of that. And then we're going to be back on Tuesday, won't we?
Yeah.
For another live stream.
Yeah, Tuesday at 7.
Yep.
And Thursday at 12:30.
Thursday at 12:30. I think we'll be back on. We took a break this week.
Yeah.
We'll be back next week.
And I'd like to send gratitude to certain people that put gifts in the mail to come to us. You guys and you put cards in there.
Oh yeah, if Sister Chris, if you're listening, thank you for your card that came yesterday with a little bit of cash in it. Thank you so much, sweetheart.
Miss Leslie, thank you for the past and what you've sent to us, and I'm looking forward to having more adventures like that from the mail department. And I thank you so much for all of you who are thinking about us at this moment and doing what you could to make sure we keep going in our classes.
You know, this morning I was listening at a CD we did way back in 1994, and I said, we've been doing this long enough to know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Long enough to know what we're talking about. Yeah. So we look forward to seeing you guys on Tuesday at 7 and Thursday at 12:30.
And then Sunday again.
Sunday again.
Been doing this for a long time.
Sure have.
I mean, we've been into this kind of stuff a long time. Lord,
You
have
got a
mercy.
birthday coming too. November.
Ooh, 11/22 and 11/27. I'm gonna have 2 in 1 month.
Yeah, we got to do something for your birthday.
Oh,
We got to get
knock me
together.
down and call me short.
We got to get together for your birthday.
Get together.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. Got to get together for your birthday.
Get together.
Yeah.
Get together. Get together. Let's get together.
And right now we send light and love to James and Kelly and everything you have to go through this week. We're sending you lots and lots of energy and love so that we're holding you in love and holding you in light and seeing you healed and well. James, healed and well.
Thank you. It is awesome. It is very awesomeness.
So if you would, take the time to hit the like button.
Please
that will
do.
help
Please
us
do.
to move up in the algorithm. I think we got a new subscriber, a couple of new subscribers this week on YouTube. And if you haven't subscribed already, do that on YouTube. And we will be back next time. I'm going in here and check my chicken.
You are the conversation of God 24/7. And every time you see somebody say good morning, hello, how you doing? You are conversating God in that small event.
Leslie's wanting an I am shirt. Pearl is the one who does that. And I will send you Pearl's email, Leslie, so that you can contact her. She is the one that's handling that. So that you can get, I think she just sent something to Pastor Norman. He's gotten his, or getting his. And so, yeah, Pastor's been wearing his. He had to take it off for me to wash it. Sister Chris, hey, sweetie pie, thank you so much.
Thank you for
another wonderful teaching. The black box really opens up and holds the light and love of life for me. Thank you, sweet pie. That's my sister. She says, send the light and love to James and Kelly. Yes, so we're going to take off here. We love you guys. Thanks for coming to see us.
See you next time. See you. Oh, boy, say, see you in the soup. All in all the mixture.